So
that's what I do. I break it.
Yeah. So that's fine, because if you try to visualize this SharePoint Designer as a front page, right, you will definitely break it. So this is more of a development tool, rather than a free moving kind of a designer. Okay.
Okay.
Now the first part is, all the pages or whatever you see in SharePoint comes from a master page. That's the first point to remember. Okay. The second point is, there are two kinds of pages. One is, the physical pages. Okay, and the other one is customized pages. Okay. These are two things, and let me talk about this. See, physical page, in SharePoint is nothing but, the physical file which is available in the directory. So for example, let's say you have a master page called as main master. Okay, so somewhere, in the directory of SharePoint, right, there will be a page called as mainmaster.aspx. Okay. Well, the master pages are with different extensions, but let's say, with whatever extension it is. Okay. Now, the time you start customizing this master page, in other words, you start deleting the menus and you start removing the tags, etc., right? What it does is, this customization, it stores into SQL Server. Only these changes. For example, let's say you take the master page and you delete the left menu. Okay. So what it will do is, it will not go and change the main master page. Okay. This is like a template, a blueprint. It will never go and change this. Okay. But rather the changes will be stored into SQL Server. Okay. Now this thing is also called as the site definition pages. In other words, they are never changed. Even if you are going to go in into the SharePoint Designer, and if you're going to go and modify these pages, still this main physical page will never change. They will be as it is. Okay. All the changes will actually go into SQL Server with whatever new page name you give. Okay. Now, whenever the SharePoint engine thinks of rendering these pages, what it does is, it takes this main master page, it looks into what are the changes, and then builds a complete page and gives it to the end user. Okay. Anytime you think that your page is doing wrong, what you do is that you just revert back to this main page wherever you wish. So in other words, for example, you did a lot of modifications, right, to the main master page, and you find that things are not good, you can always go and revert back to the site definition.
Right, and I have seen that option before. So 1 second then, the physical master page, is that stored on the file system? Or it's
yeah, that's stored in the file system.
Okay.
So let me just see if I have that in bookmarks I had kept somewhere. Somewhere it was there. SharePoint path. So you can see that master page is there. That's C program files, common files, Microsoft Share, template, global, whatever that big path is.
Right.
You can see these are now what happens is, when you actually edit from SharePoint, right, let's say, just first thing, you can see that there are a lot of master files here, master pages. Okay. Now each of these master pages are used for a specific purpose. For example, by default, your master page, by default, your site uses this v4.master by default, SharePoint 2010. Okay. This default.master is nothing but, basically that the 2007 master page it is. So in case you're migrating from 2007 to 2010, right, you will find this master page being used a lot. Okay. This minimal.master is, when you do not want, it's a very lightweight page. It doesn't have the left menu. It doesn't have the logo. It's very, for mobile applications. It's a very minimal master page you can think about. Okay. So by default, this is the master page v4.master which is used. Okay. Now what happens is, if you go through the SharePoint Designer, okay, and when you start editing those pages, I think something is wrong here. It's opening for a long time. As well, just close this.
So when you go and you create a site collection or a site, does is the master pages on the file system used when people access your SharePoint instance if they haven't been customized? Are they used right from the file system?
They are used from the file system, yes.
They are, okay, interesting.
But yeah, they are used from the file system, and that's where, in other words, you can, let's keep, the name is, let's name this as uncustomized pages, henceforth, so that, or I'll say, let's say this as physical pages. So by default, if you don't customize it, right? In other words, you have not done anything, right? It will take the physical pages. The time you do customization, it will take from the SQL server.
Right. So if I went onto the file system into that 14 folder and I changed some of those in there, I understand I won't do it. But would that change be reflected?
Oh yes, it will be a mess. So if you know,
I know, I understand it would be a mess, but that would happen. So if somebody goes back to site definition, my messed up master page would get used.
Right, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, okay. I understand. I was mixed up there. That's perfect.
Absolutely. So you can see, like, over here, as I said, the first thing is when you think about customizing the site, right? The most important thing is the master page. So you can see, like, the SharePoint designer can do a lot of things. It can access content types, site pages, but the master page is the most important one. Okay. And as I said, by default, it uses this v4.master. Okay.
So right now, is this designer looking at the file system?
See, it's looking at the file system, as well as you can see that there are some other copies here which I've created, previously.
And those copies are going to be in SQL Server.
Into SQL Server, yes. So these copies are not seen, when we went to the file folder, I didn't see these copies actually.
Right.
Why? Because that was stored into the SQL Server. So let's go and edit this master page v4.designer here, and let's say edit file in advanced mode. Okay. Now the time you do this, right? Now this is a very important step here, and as I said that the SharePoint designer should not be thought as a replacement of front page or Dreamweaver, because you are actually editing some ASP.NET contents over there. Okay, so it's more of a programming tool, I think.
Okay.
So it's time. And you can see that the SharePoint designer, you can customize a lot of other things over here, even the pages, even the workflows, etc. We'll come to that later on.
Okay.
All right. Now you can see the what you call the page over here, and the page showing your list at the left hand side, and showing a lot of other things here. Okay, the web part manager, etc. Now what I'll do is I'll go and I'm going to go and delete this. Okay. Now the first thing is the very important menu, which I think personally is the visual aids over here. Okay. Now this visual aids, right, page over here, the visual aids is nothing but how in depth you want to see this complete view. In other words, for example, I'll say don't display me CSS content, don't display me ASP.NET visual controls, don't display me this. So you'll see that the view is becoming much clearer and clearer over here. Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. So so for example, like yeah.
So much better.
Right. Yeah. So for example, here what I'm saying is just display me the placeholders over here. So it's just displaying me the placeholders. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now okay. Now let's go back to our rules here. So one is that everything is from a master page. Second, we have two kinds of pages. One is the physical pages, and the other one is the customized pages. And the customized pages are stored into SQL Server.
Okay.
And the next thing is, never, like, as I said, these are master pages, and then you have placeholder contents over here. Okay. So the first thing is that you never ever go and delete the placeholders, because if you delete the placeholders, you are gone. Then you are messed up. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll just write down never delete the placeholders. Sometimes it will work if you delete the placeholder. Sometimes it will not work. So as a golden rule, don't delete the placeholder, because that master page expects that placeholder over there. So if you don't want the placeholder, make it visible false.
Okay.
The next thing is in order to ensure that we don't delete the placeholders, at the bottom you can see, right, you are it tells you on which section you have clicked. For example, if I click over here, right, it tells me over here at the bottom side here saying that you are currently on the placeholder top nav bar. Okay.
Okay.
So I will not go and hit a delete here. It will cause problems, right?
Okay.
So if I want to go and delete this guy, okay, the recycle bin. So here now I'm sure, right, this is a navigation link, a SharePoint part, so I'll right click here. I'll not delete from here. If I do and go and delete from here, it can cause problems. So I'm going to say right click here and delete here. Remove tag. Can you see that?
Yep.
So don't hit the delete. Definitely, if you hit the delete, it will work. But as I said, that there's a high possibility you can go and delete the placeholders here. Okay. So we are going to go and delete the remove tag from here. Now let's select very carefully the all site content and remove this tag from here.
Okay.
So now we are very much ensuring that the launch bottom placeholder is there. We don't want to delete that. As I told, as a golden rule, don't delete it. Okay.
Okay.
But then we don't want this, what do you call, this placeholder launch, So what I'll do is I'm going to go to the properties here and I'm going to say, make this visible false. So
excellent.
The SharePoint engine, will actually, because he's expecting those placeholders there. So those placeholders are there for him. But, but for us, we have just gone ahead and made it visible false.
Excellent.
So you see this. Now see, this is a very important dialog box it is showing here, saying that saving your changes will customize the pages, So it is no longer going to use the site definition. In other words, it's not going to use this anymore.
Yep.
So the master physical page. And we say yes, we agree to that. We save it. Okay. Now that's saved. Right. And you can see this is our v4.master page, and we are going to go and check in this. Now in order to check in, right, you have to do a checkout. Right click and say check in. So yes, check in this. So let's now see if let's see if our page has been customized. Let's go to Quest HR page here. So you can see that the left the recycle bin has gone off from here.
Right. Okay. But you didn't copy it and rename it.
No, I did not.
You did not because SharePoint did that itself, because now we're using the master page from SQL anyways, but it has the same name. Wouldn't you want to rename it so that you knew it was a customized page?
Yes, we can definitely go and rename this, if you wish. But if you rename this from here, right, then you have to ensure that all your site pages also use that same master page here. So you have to again go and modify here. So what I did is I just kept it, So in other words, because all these pages, use that master page, right? So we need to then go here and say that, okay, use that master page. Okay. So that's why I just kept it as it is.
Right, but if you
see, if you want to, anytime if you want to go and revert back, you can always say go back to the site definition. So
right.
as I said that the actual page is never modified. The actual page is kept as it is. What is modified, is saved into SQL Server.
So does when you open a page, does SharePoint go look in SQL first, and if it can't find it, then it goes to the file system?
Yeah, what it does is, it goes to the page there, and if they say that, okay, this page has been customized, it will actually go to SQL Server, or else it will take from the physical directory. So the first thing it doesn't go to the physical directory actually. It first goes to the SQL Server to say that, this page, has been customized. Yes, it has been customized. So it'll take it from SQL Server. If not, then it'll go to the physical directory.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
All right. So, in case you just want to reset back, you can always say reset to file definition here, and that whole thing will come up. In other words, what it will do is, it will actually take this page from here and just, replace it. Okay. Or I'll say it will start using the page from here. It will not replace it because there is no physical page as such.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's go and edit this again. Now see, as I said, the other thing which I wanted to do is I wanted to put this whole thing at the top here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to go again, select on this, and I'll go and remove this tag, and then I can go here, and in this properties, I can go and define my data source, etc. Okay. We can do that, so let's not, probably you can do this as exercise yourself. It's a very good modification. So
okay.
what you can do is take up a master page. Don't worry, you can always reset back to the site